BNN sat down with Mr. Peach and Coach T to discuss usage of social media. In this episode, they share some stories on how it can directly impact you.
I think that companies look at it the same way. You know, they look at what you've got on your page from a professionalism standpoint, what you like, what your dislikes are. Are they congruent with whatever the job opportunity might be? It's a good opportunity to showcase if you're interning somewhere or things like that, to take pictures and videos. So it's almost like your digital resume. I mean, you've got the people that promoted themselves on social media with offers that weren't real and those kind of things, and then it gets to signing day, and it's just like anything else. They've carried out a charade for so long, they try to finish it out until the university doesn't honor that scholarship, which is sad. And then you've got situations too where we were talking about earlier, they really get into the account and look at it, and it's not what their university represents. Look at Antonio Brown, and you know, he's not doing anything to help himself right now. It's sad because athletically, his skill set's unlike anything we've seen since Jerry Rice, probably, as far as a receiver goes. But he is ruining his chance at redemption by continuing to fan the flame on social media.
I had a student who was in the Parents of Wilson County Facebook group a couple of years ago, and the parents in that group were talking about a very sensitive situation that requires a lot of caution, and that people feel very strongly about, but people also had a lot of questions about. And it's about some drills that we do here in the building to keep students safe, that not everybody in the world is privy to how those drills go down. This student had an inside view of how those drills go. And this student wanted to share his opinions on how effective they are and they aren't, which sort of is his right to do, except for two things. Number one, it's a group for parents, and he wasn't a parent. Number two, he is talking about information that is purposely kept close so that not everybody in the world can find out how we go about keeping our students safe here in the building. And number three, his profile picture was the logo for BNN. And so he's talking about these things in an environment that he wasn't even supposed to be in. Number two, he's giving away information that a lot of people wanted, but at the same time puts people in jeopardy. And number three, he's doing it, whether intentionally or not, representing my audio-visual program because of the logo in his profile. And so I had to let him know that that was not okay, because he wasn't just representing himself with that. He was also representing us. And if you talk to the sports coaches in here, if their entire profile is about recruit me, recruit me, recruit me, and then they're talking crazy about people are seeing that Golden Bears are talking crazy about people, not just that individual. And so you have to think about, am I representing myself, or am I representing other people, and is there even a clear distinction between the two?
Now, I think there's banner, and that's a whole different deal. I mean, the student section, I love some of the stuff they do. It doesn't bother me at all. You know, I think they have fun, and that's fine. But there is a line, and you have to be careful with that line. And a couple times I've crossed it and wished I hadn't have.
I think more often than not, if you're trying to figure out where this invisible line is, and it's more of a gray area, and it's more of a Venn diagram, you know. If you're trying to figure out where this line is of, is it clear that I'm representing myself, or am I representing some sort of association that I have with an organization, whether it's a job or a college or a team or whatever. I think something that you need to strongly consider is the topic that I'm addressing something that is specific to the organization that people would infer that I'm representing. So for instance, I tend to not have a ton of conversations in public on social media about local education policy. If I talk about Mount Juliet High School or Wilson County schools in particular, I'm probably giving props to somebody that deserves it. And if there's something that I don't like about how the local situation is going, I'll address that with the people that I'm close to, but not in front of everybody else. Just because you probably wouldn't do that with your family. And I've made that mistake. I've put family, like literal family business, blood family business, as a grievance, as a complaint from my end on social media. And it was never the right call.
You have to be really careful with those things. For me, I will not put something on, even on my personal page, if I don't think it represents our program. Like, that's another way that you can sort of hesitate on being too animated or emotional about something, because when I do think that way, the follow-up thought is always immediately, am I an ambassador for my program if I'm putting this out there? I think that's probably me as much as anything. And it's sort of in my DNA, you know, it's what I grew up with, and you don't want to ever put anything on somebody else's bulletin board. You know, people are going to be motivated. We've had a target on our back for a few years now because of our success, and that's fine. That kind of goes with the territory. So you don't want to, you don't want to make the target bigger. The only thing I would advise is, it's kind of like circling back to what we said in the beginning, is just to make sure that, that in your bio, because if some people won't get past that, they won't get to your timeline if your bio's not cleaned up and says what you want it to portray. Well, it doesn't have to be sports; it can be anything. But whatever you're interested in and whatever you want to make a living doing, that needs to be a part of your bio, and it needs to be pretty clear. There needs to be some clarity about that. It doesn't mean you can't have fun on there. Obviously, you can. But you do need to look at it like your digital resume, because when it comes down to it in a competitive market, that's what it is.